This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is telling everyone, let's face it in therapy. By talking or texting with a supportive, licensed therapist at Talkspace, you can face whatever is holding you back, whether it's mental health symptoms, relationship drama, past trauma, bad habits, or another challenge that you need support to work through. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a provider, typically within 48 hours. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make your mental health a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.
Beautiful Anonymous changes each week. It defies genres and expectations. For example, our most recent episode, I talked to a woman who survived a murder attempt by her own son. But just the week before that, we just talked the whole time about Star Trek. We've had other recent episodes about sexting in languages that are not your first language, or what it's like to get weight loss surgery. It's unpredictable, it's real, it's honest, it's raw. Get Beautiful Anonymous wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome to this edition of the Awakening Women podcast. In this episode, we're talking about the relationship between women, men, and money. This is a topic I'm really passionate about, and I'm going to start talking more about this here a little bit, but mostly over on the She's Moving On podcast, because it's really, really crucial that we as women get financially empowered. If you have ever felt trapped or controlled around money and men, and trapped in a job position that you don't like, or in a relationship, which is why we're here, that is not healthy because of money, whether it's that you're earning enough, but you're afraid to break away and financially support yourself, or some women are not making the amount of money their spouse makes, so they're kind of in that power under position in the relationship. They have the power over because they are the income providers and they are controlling with the funds and they're controlling with money. Whatever it looks like, women are disempowered around their money, probably more than they are empowered. And I know for me, this has been a huge part of my growth journey, and it continues to be one of the top, along with obviously health and you know, my top values. It is one of my top values because you cannot live a good life without enough money, period. And making more money doesn't always mean that you know how to manage money. That is something I learned in my journey to experiencing my business having exponential growth, and recognizing that it actually didn't solve all of my problems, and in some ways it made them worse because I didn't have the foundation, the skills, the know-how, and so many things that I did in a very short period of time when my business radically took off, and starting a corporation and not necessarily understanding what all that entailed and the taxes and all of it. So sometimes more money equals more problems. And so then we can kind of hold ourselves back when we have had that kind of experience, right? Is wow, I didn't realize how much more responsibility more money actually entailed. And I had no clue. Nobody taught me about money. All I learned about money is it doesn't grow on trees. There's never enough. I don't have it. And that's all I ever heard growing up. It's all I ever heard from my family of origin, right? And so it's doing a lot of money healing work, a lot of emotional healing work around money, having awareness. But what's prompted this is that I get a lot of inquiries to work with me via email, but mostly through social media and Instagram. Daily, I get many inquiries. And one thing that I notice is that there's a lot of women that are very much out of their financial power, very much. The ones who are in their financial power, they have said things to me like, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to move some money around and I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make the deposit. I'm going to make the payment. I'm going to enroll. I'm going to buy the course. I'm going to figure it out. They will actually say it and then they do it because they value themselves enough to invest in getting the help they need to get there faster and be more efficient and help themselves by getting the support they need to do things more efficiently. And then there's another group that will just listen to free stuff, take free stuff over and over and over and over, and never ever invest. And they don't move forward. They don't make a change. And when they're met with, here's a solution, it's, I can't afford it. And so the late Wayne Dyer, someone I still love to listen to this day, I listened to him many, many, many years ago. And I saw him live in a Hay House event, and I absolutely love him. I was so sad when he died. I felt like it was my dad that died. So ridiculous. But I kind of saw him as like my father figure from beyond, like just a different father figure, because I didn't have that kind of guidance from my father. And so I always felt like that when I'd listen to him. And if you have not listened to him, just go find something on him and you'll see what I mean. He just brings like peace and groundedness. But what he has said many times is, whatever you say after I am, you will affirm it to be truth. And I may have mangled the wording up, but really it's that you are, and he says like it's God realization. I have no dogma. I'm not religious at all. I have my own spiritual beliefs, but however you want to see that I am could be self-love, it's spirit, it's the divine, it's the universe. So I am is saying that is who I am. And so if you're saying I cannot afford it, then you are saying, you're putting out there into the ethers, the universe, that I can't afford it. And so then you will keep being met with situations and things and experiences of I can't afford it. Not to mention, it sounds so disempowered. I don't even utter those. I do not say those words. I promise you I do not. I never say that. There's other things we can say and do. A lot of times it's not a priority. It's not one of my highest values, because I'm not going to go purchase a $50,000 bracelet, Cartier bracelet. I don't care about that. It's sure, if someone wants to buy one for me, sure, yay. But it's not something that I'm like, I want to go and put my money toward that. There are other things that I value more, but it's not to say it's too expensive, because who am I to say that? Compared to what? And so that's one thing you can ask yourself, compared to what? How much therapy have you done? Add it up. 50% of women I surveyed said they had spent over $5,000 in therapy that got them nowhere, that actually made things worse. Yes, some of my programs cost more than that, but you get a lot more from what I give you. It's not just an hour of sitting and talking. You're getting a full spectrum strategy, program, support, depending on the level that you work with me at. So be mindful of when you're saying I am, or anything with I. So I'm stuck, I'm overwhelmed, I'm exhausted, I'm confused. Be mindful of what you're saying. It doesn't mean to sugarcoat it and disassociate from your truth if you are confused or you are exhausted. It's just being mindful of what you're saying after I am. Okay, so I want you to play with that over the next while and realize that you are speaking your life into existence. Words are spells. They cast energy and they put. So if you believe that I am broke or I can't afford it, then there's no room there for anything else. And a lot of times we use that as a reason to stay stuck. Women having money equals us reclaiming our fullest power. I have said this before, and I really believe this. It's ruffled feathers before. A woman cannot be fully in her power if she doesn't have her own money, period. I don't believe that's possible. Even if you're in a healthier relationship and you're not with someone that's toxic and all that, aside from that, you're in a healthy relationship, you still need to have some of your own money, because what if it goes sideways? Is the guy going to just write you a check, cut you a check so you can go buy your own house? You need to have your own money, and we get stuck in these situations where we are powerless financially. And we have to take our power back. It's the only way. And no one's going to give it to you. No one's going to hand it to you and say, here's your power. And here's your money. And here's all the answers to your money. We have to take that initiation and do our own work. That has been like probably one of my biggest sources of personal growth, transformation, discomfort in this lifetime, is figuring that aspect out. And understanding the relationship to money in our past and our programming as women as well. Because a lot of times women have more money shit than men around the mindsets and the beliefs around it, because men were the power figures around money. Women could not get bank accounts without their male counterpart's signature. That was in like my grandmother's era in the 70s. I can't remember the date when that all got switched. But they couldn't even get a loan or open up a bank account or get a mortgage on their own. Now women are getting their own mortgages. I have my own mortgage. Like, we're doing things that were not done in our grandmother's era. And so we have to be able to evolve into the times. Does that mean you don't want to have a man that's providing? No, I believe you should have someone that is, if not equally or more so, providing. Someone that you can partner with financially, but not someone that is going to leech off of you, drain your family account, rack up your credit cards, and not care what they're doing with the money. And I've seen this with women. Unfortunately, I've seen women being put in bad situations with their own money, even as far as they hand over their paychecks to their spouse, or their money gets put into a joint account and then their spouse spends it all. Like, no, no. And I think blending accounts is not a good idea. So anyway, lots of stuff there. I teach a lot of this stuff in my programs, by the way.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is telling everyone, let's face it in therapy. By talking or texting with a supportive, licensed therapist at Talkspace, you can face whatever is holding you back, whether it's mental health symptoms, relationship drama, past trauma, bad habits, or another challenge that you need support to work through. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a provider, typically within 48 hours. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make your mental health a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.
Where I just really talk no bullshit around this, but I really do believe blending accounts doesn't mean you don't have a joint account. Maybe it's for certain things and there's a certain amount of money that gets put in there, but with these type of men, it's not a good idea, because I've seen women put all their money into accounts, or their spouse has access to their income because they're the higher earner and the husband is living off of their money and has full access to the credit cards in the bank. And then they start to get wind that they're leaving, or some women have already left, and they still give access to their ex to get money from the account. And what do you think he's going to do? He's probably going to go clean it out. And then what are you going to do? It's a big long legal process to stick it to him to get your money back. Meanwhile, you've just lost out on however much money he cleaned out or spent. Not a good idea. So women need to get empowered. If you are feeling stuck in this area and you need some help, I am offering consulting around this, where I can help you with the strategy, tips, guidance. Obviously, I don't give you direct financial or legal advice, but I can help you see around corners. I can tell you what I think you should or should not do, where you should look, where you should not look, and how to really get this dialed in. Okay, so a more empowered response, though, to I can't afford it, I'm broke, it's too much money, it's too expensive, whatever, is I have limited resources available for getting support. I know I want to work with you, but coaching is not in my budget at this time. Do you have any other options that could support me? That's just an example, right, of coaching. It could be something else. It could be you're in a store looking for something. This is a little out of my budget. Is there something else that you could recommend? It could be anything. Landscapers, house cleaners, anything. I'm just using this as an example because something just happened yesterday that reminded me of this and reminded me of the women that I just admire, the women that find a way. So a woman reached out to me wanting to work with me, but my coaching, once converted into her dollar where she lives, was not feasible. And so she asked if I had anything specific that's just for planning her exit, since she knew she already needed to leave. So she felt like she didn't need End the Cycle or any of the inner work at this time. She just wanted the strategy to get out. And so I sent her my Strong Enough to Leave exit planning course, which is part of End the Cycle. And it's been in the vault. I haven't been selling it for I don't know how long, months and months. I haven't been selling it on its own. So I said, hey, I have this course, and I sent it to her, and she signed up right away and was so grateful. But the point here, and this is again, it's opening up, this is why we have to stop with the things that shut down possibility, is instead of saying I can't afford it, it's okay, so what is the option? I want this thing. What are my options? Okay, then you open up a realm of possibility. Had she not said that, I wouldn't have said, actually, yes, I do have something for you, and I'm going to pull it out of the vault. And that's exactly what I did. And so I've opened it up again. I don't know for how long, but it's out of the vault. If you're interested in wanting to actually get my exit planning course, this is in-depth, very powerful, step-by-step, how to plan it, how to deal with the emotional aspect, the mindset aspect, the legal tips that I have to give you to save money on lawyers and all the insanity that ensues with mediation, and why mediation is just a stage for more gaslighting. I prepare you for the whole thing, and it's things you probably aren't even thinking of, and it's all things that I highly recommend you do before you tip them off that you're leaving, because when you do that, all hell breaks loose. They start doing crazy things. They'll start doing crazy things with money. They'll start just pulling rugs out from under you and doing all kinds of insanity when they catch wind of that. And so I highly recommend that you work this process behind the scenes very calmly without letting on, once you have made that decision, or at least you're at that place where you're very close. You don't have to be fully clear before you start planning, but you start taking steps, because as you've heard, as you walk out on the way appears. As you start taking steps, the path reveals itself, and you start to see, okay, I can take that next step. You just have to have that courage, right? It doesn't mean you have to leave tomorrow, but you start facing the fear and facing those limiting thoughts and beliefs that you have that you can't do it or you're afraid to do it, and you just start taking steps. Okay? So where do you instantly see lack and limitation? Is it when you think about leaving? Oh, I'm afraid I can't afford it. I'm afraid I can't support myself. I'm afraid I can't support my children. What if this? What if that? And instead you flip that around and just said, how can I do this? What do I need to have in place? Who do I need to be the woman that can do all of this with ease? Doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but who do you need to be? And then where do you need to expand your mind from I can't to how can I? Whatever it may be, whether it's investing in help, if it's leaving the relationship, if it's getting your finances together, or even the I don't know how, it can be how can I find out? Who do I need to call? Who do I need to enlist? Whose expertise do I need to find out the how? That's empowerment. When you're saying I can't, I don't know, I'm stuck, I'm this, I'm that, make sure you're putting something empowering after I will figure this out. I will find a way. So it is very powerful. And so if you relate to this and you do want my guidance, and maybe you're like this woman and others who really want to work with me, but I know how the world is right now, and maybe the higher level coaching and consulting and private work with me isn't within your reach. And so I have a few options. So number one, if you go into on the End the Cycle page, the links for all this will be in the show notes. I have the self-study and then the VIP option right now. And also I have included options for Canadians to pay in CAD. I've never done this before. I decided to make that one course available to that if you're in Canada, and the US conversion can sometimes be hairy. And so for now, I have it available in USD and CAD payment options. And there is the VIP level, and both of those options have installment plans. I also have the exit planning course, as I said, that is part of my full End the Cycle program that I've pulled out of the vault, and you can purchase that as its own course. And I also have the Relationship Breakthrough Starter course. This is a bundle of my previous challenges that are very powerful. You need a notebook, you need a journal, you need to put some time into actually sitting down and doing the work and integrating it. Plus a bunch of other things are in there. So if you're just wanting to get started and get going with the work that I teach, then get the starter course. So there's something there for everyone if you're ready to take the next step, because you can't get there a lot of times by doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? And I'm very passionate about teaching women about money, power, and the link between why women feel disempowered around money. Okay, it's that the more a woman truly owns her potential to make money, to earn, and she invests in the stock market and in herself, her own growth, and her decision-making power, the less she'll tolerate crumbs and control, codependency from men and toxic work environments. And when she stops playing small and stops centering men and starts choosing herself, everything shifts. When women rise in power, including with their money, toxic systems, abusive partners, patriarchal cultures, and even internalized conditioning push back hard. And this is why healing and rising financially and unapologetically is a radical move. And it makes way for our greatest empowerment as women. So I hope this has been helpful. Maybe this is something you needed to hear today. And I will chat with you in the next one.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is telling everyone, let's face it in therapy. By talking or texting with a supportive, licensed therapist at Talkspace, you can face whatever is holding you back, whether it's mental health symptoms, relationship drama, past trauma, bad habits, or another challenge that you need support to work through. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a provider, typically within 48 hours. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make your mental health a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.